Tonight, before I came out here on stage, my mixtape of thoughts was in overdrive. You see, I have this character who sits on my shoulder. Her name is Perfect Pat. Now, Perfect Pat likes to criticise me whenever I try to do hard things, and she likes to give me her opinion whenever I try to push myself out of my comfort zone. Tonight's conversation went a little something like this. I cannot believe you're going out there, Melissa. So much can go wrong. You'll probably trip and fall in front of all of those people. Hi, Pat. You're back. I thought I was going to have a break from you tonight. I thought we'd settled this. Well, yeah, I thought we'd settled it too. Nobody cares what you've got to say, you know. I'm just trying to keep you safe. Thank you. I know you're trying to keep me safe and I appreciate it, but I think I'm just going to go out there anyway. Stop! Don't go out there. You're just not good enough. Now, for years, I listened to Perfect Pat with the utmost care and consideration. After all, I'm a fairly bright, level-headed person, so my thoughts must be true, right? And for the past 15 years or so, I've meditated and practiced mindfulness. For those of you who don't know anything about it, it basically means sitting down and watching your thoughts all day, for hours on end. Plenty of time to get to know the perfect Pat in your life. In my time as a mindfulness teacher, I've realised that I'm not alone. Most of us have our own version of perfect Pat in our life that tries to protect us from failure. You'd think, with all of my mind training, that I would have kicked Perfect Pat to the curb, gotten rid of her. Well, as you can see, she's still here, and I'm still up here sweating, nervous as all hell. After all, I'm human, and every day I try to give myself permission to be human, and that includes fielding comments from Perfect Pat. Now, I'm not here to give you the 3-point plan to banish your inner critic for good. As you can see, it doesn't work like that. But what I'd love to offer you is what's worked for me, and that is working with your inner critic. And it uses this cool acronym. Think of it as a mindfulness hack for busy people. It's R.A.I.N. R-A-I-N. The R is for recognise. Can we stop for a moment and just recognise what's going on in our big old imagination or mind? Is it perfect Pat? Is it anger? Is it a feeling of emptiness or shame? No need to do more, just recognise. An easy way to do that is to stop and take a nice, deep breath. A is for accept. Now, I'm not talking about being steamrolled by your inner critic. All I'm talking about is just noticing what's going on without judgment. And if you're feeling super brave, you might even sit next to your inner critic and ask it what it wants. I is for investigate. After you've recognised and then accepted what's happening for you right in this moment, is it possible to just stop and be a detective in your own body and feel what it feels like to be you? Finally, and most importantly, is nurture. Is it possible to nurture our inner critic the same way we might nurture a newborn baby? As I've always said, my best mindfulness teacher by far has been my son, especially during those early days of parenting, the nights that never seem to end, the crying that never seems to stop. I had no choice but to recognise, accept, investigate, and nurture. And it wasn't until one of those dark nights of the soul that I held my son, I truly realised what the meaning of nurturing your inner critic was. As I held my baby in my arms, I thought about his future inner critic. If he were having doubts, I would never dream of speaking to him the way perfect Pat speaks to me. If he were having doubts, I could never hold this precious baby in my arms and tell him that he's not good enough. Is it possible for us to start approaching our inner critic with that same love and tenderness of a parent? And even if you're not a parent, think about yourself as a child. What sort of messages did you need to hear? And is it possible for you to give those messages to yourself today? Can we say words like, I see you, I hear you? Can we say, you're safe? Can we say, I know you can do hard things? Because if we can, who knows what might happen after the rain? Thank you.